morning to you. It's 3 days to the end of the month. Welcome to our morning edition of the news. I'm Jackie Monyoncho, and right about now, Lion joins me. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
What's up with the good morning nowadays? Are you too cold?
No, man. I've toned it down.
Why?
Maybe I'm not, but it's not too cold. These days, well, it's fluctuating. It's cold, it's hot. Yeah. I don't know. So it has to be an ongoing thing. No, I've quit that one.
What happened again?
I've decided it was not a good idea. They wouldn't accept me. I mocked them.
Yeah, so we are still waiting on the others to come in.
Yep.
Eugene and Albert will be back.
One time where we were filming this debate. It was debate. Well, it's inconsequential what debate it was, but the guy who at the teleprompter at some point fell asleep. So the host is reading the thing, and then at some point it stops. So he figures, okay, let me keep repeating this, so this guy at the teleprompter will realize that it's stuck, and then nothing happens. And then I think even the repetition of it made him snore. He was like, okay, guy, wake up. There's work to do.
Was it that boring or what?
And no, I don't know. I think he was not. It was also some sort of workshop for people working at the TV. That will remain unnamed, but that is will remain unnamed.
Good morning.
Yes.
Someone made a call.
You see? No. That was worse than me. Good morning,
Good morning. Yes, someone called me at the wrong time. I had to go and answer.
Okay, there's no need of mentioning.
Okay. So
yes. So someone was asking the minister the other day. I was listening to the rebroadcast of Minister Joe's interview, and I heard him on another radio station that will remain unnamed. And so they asked him, so if you were to meet God, if God was to call you, what would you say? Usually in Rwanda, we say that when God calls you, you pretty much have nothing else to say but answer. So you're gone. You're out of there. Adios.
There was on a billboard on a highway in California or Florida. There was this thing. Big billboard on the side of the road. Like if you want to talk to God, there's some areas you can park on the side. And take your time and you know.
And do it.
But if you want to meet him, just send him an SMS right away.
and you would answer.
Who would do that?
I imagine it's a billboard to warn people of texting while driving.
Text and calling and stuff like that while driving. You know, even me, I can tell you, don't drink and drive. You don't drink and drive. You know.
The interpretation of that, don't drink and drive. There are people who drink even soda and they are driving. Is that wrong?
No, but that's what I'm showing you my shirt right now. Don't drink and drive.
Okay.
Don't drink while driving.
Yeah, don't drink coffee while driving.
and having a white shirt, you know.
Sour. So what do we have?
So speaking of Jesus, all
right.
Okay. No, there's this church.
He's having his Jesus moment.
That is Jesus after the game over. They got Jesus.
They usually have this place where they have all the communications at
they
churches.
call them churches. Okay. You mean
where
at
they
churches?
have at churches. So where they have communications for the Christians or for their followers. So these ones they were just losing people, losing followers. So at some point they said, well, he came and left. He didn't find anyone. So what's in the news, folks?
Let's review some of the stories that we ran in our own media. We had the story on the cemetery law that was, I think, passed some time back in 2013, where they say the cemetery will be closed for 20 years.
After 20 years.
Up to 20 years.
Up to 20,
yeah, then they'll...
What do you mean, the existing?
Yes.
Yeah, so once it's full, they will count from the last one, the last person who was laid to rest there. And was it 20 or 10 years?
After 20?
There's 20 and
years?
10. There's
Yeah.
20 and
But
10.
what, guys? You
So
just say 10, 20,
they'll close it and
Like
give
close
time for the bodies to decompose, and then after that they will recycle it and start buying
Use
people again. Or use the land for something else.
for some other projects.
I'm not getting. You're telling me that they're gonna close cemeteries.
So when it's full.
When it's full.
How do you know it's
They
full?
count, but well, because there's no other space to put people.
All right. So we say Rusororo there when that
Yeah,
thing
so,
is.
so the space that they have arranged for example, Rusororo,
Yes.
once they have filled that space, there's nowhere else to bury people,
Hmm.
so they will close it, and then from that very time, count 20 years,
And
and
then?
and imagine that it gives time for the bodies
Full,
fully decompose,
And
and
then?
then they will use the land for something else. They say otherwise we would run out of land.
But I always tell people, why don't you just burn yourself into ashes and then just throw it
yeah,
out?
well, that was suggested, and people were outraged to this. And
Really?
no, it's against our culture. You know, everything is always
Against our
against culture.
It's not about the culture.
J for
Yeah,
J,
it's always
J for J.
Yeah, now I quit those
but
ones.
you know, my personal experience, I haven't died yet, but my parents, I had to bury them when we were still away. Well, hashtag.
While you were away.
Yeah. So and I pay rent for them. You know?
Up to today?
Yeah. So it was my first rent was for 30 years. So after 30 years, I had to go back. I had to fly back and pay again for an extra 10 years. And now I pay every 10 years, so it's there.
Yeah. So if he doesn't, there will be an eviction notice.
Exactly.
That's
Absolutely.
there.
Absolutely. That's the whole point.
Imagine
But
that.
the thing is that cemetery, I mean, it's about the same size as this country, but the same type of, numbers of population. So if they can manage it, why would we have a problem?
Yeah, I don't quite understand that. And then people invest a lot of money building these house-looking.
Well, house or bathroom looking,
Yeah,
depending.
something
Depending,
looking.
yeah, something looking.
You know,
but
that-
they do invest a lot of money in there.
What else is in the news? I think we don't have
That was
that
in the
much
news.
Yeah.
So what was in the news then?
What else? What else? I mean, it's a very sad way of starting the review. I mean,
But it's all
Well, no,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a wake
we
up
need to
call.
talk
It's a
about
wake
it.
up
Wake up
call.
call.
We're all
You're
going
there
there.
for 20 years, and that's it. You know,
And know that
your
after 20
infinity
years,
is
will be-
regulated.
Yeah. That, after 20 years, they'll be planting trees up your black posterior.
That was a very poetic way to say it. You know, and there will be an ebony tree
on top
on
of
the
you.
black posterior.
Ebony. What else is in the news?
In the news also
I'm
we
trying to
have
move on.
Yeah, me too. I mean, let's move on.
we had a debate in our newsroom yesterday when we were
Where
talking
the-
about the drug trafficking laws. Are they too lenient on people? Because we have countries like Singapore where it's written once you enter that country, we are seeing some stories there, and it's written you'll just be executed.
Yeah,
you're
but
caught
you don't
drug
want to go.
trafficking,
You
but say in Rwanda-
don't want to go there.
Why?
You don't want to go. You don't want to execute people for this kind of stuff. You know,
I think-
that there is a whole. You know, even the whole drug thing. It has been something that has been lost at this point by the people who have tried to generate to fight it. You know, just coming back to the U.S. because they're the champions of introducing this kind of morale that is in fact disguised morale because it's an economic thing. But when in the U.S. they had banned booze, alcohol. These were the days that they had local Al Capones,
Yeah,
guys,
mafia types,
mafia types
yeah.
of organization, organized crime, and that was at the level of the U.S., right? Until they had to liberalize it and make it legal. You see? Then they created the same thing for drugs on a global level. Now you had global Al Capones. You see, you had those Pablo Escobars and the guys who could buy out the national debt of Bolivia.
I think these punishments or punitive measures
Or Colombia.
are usually arrived at basing on the extent of that crime, the extent of its occurrence. Maybe if it is too much, then the punitive measures are increased. We've seen in the case of the driving, the road safety rules, it was out of what was happening that we saw some increase in the punitive measures. So I think in Rwanda's case, getting to that level of execution, I think it will be premature because we don't have a lot of that happening.
All of that, the problem is, again, I say, I mean, people decide to say this is a drug, and they don't consider another one that does the same effect and another drug. You see, and then they create those rules like this is illegal, and this is the extent of how illegal it is, how much they will punish you. You know, instead of informing, educating people, you know, you will always have soft spots, soft agents who will be victim of that. But if you inform and educate more people have a better way to. I mean, in Holland, you know, this is one of those countries in Europe, and not just Holland, even some states in the United States now are revisiting the whole mindset to say, why fight it instead of maybe make it legal, but educate people and controlling it.
But now we have to also be specific in saying that it's not all drugs. They are legalizing marijuana, but it's not necessarily true for these drugs. Like
well, you have hard drugs, you have soft drugs, and all that. But even hard drugs, you know, in those countries like Holland and all that, they are tolerated because it's better to have guys that you can control. Instead of having underground mafia, blah blah, and all that, and crime, and
that's
and
even their approach with regards to prostitution.
Exactly,
because we keep fighting, we keep having these slogans and fighting these wars that you cannot win. You cannot win. You can lower the cases. You can stay vigilant. But now coming back to that, when you have that kind of debate and say, are the laws too lenient? Which laws are we talking about in comparison to executing people? Because first of all, okay, in Rwanda, if we have banned the death penalty, which is a good thing for me because it shows that at least you give some value to human life. But then what?
Us?
Yeah, hopefully so. Up until like 20 years.
Never lasts.
Then something very unpleasant will become of you. But anywho, don't sidetrack me. I was on a roll. I knew where I was going. Now I'm lost. But definitely. So we have to know what are the laws in Rwanda. What is the punishment for because I see people even being caught with small amounts of marijuana who go to jail and spend there at least a minimum of a year. So I don't know, when you say lenient, I'm not too sure what.
I also think
the law is, according to the police, you are jailed for 10 years or pay 5 million.
Well, that's not lenient.
5 million, and you have marijuana
10 years,
worth
10 years,
45.
10 years.
You can either be jailed for 10 years or pay 5 million.
Yes, and then and
that is too lenient. If
for
I traffic,
but if you're trafficking marijuana, you didn't kill anyone really. You just gave people the munchies.
You know.
You know what the
killing.
munchies
That's
are?
like killing.
That's like killing.
No, but
Like
then you tell all the booze sellers here they are killers. That is what you mean, because really marijuana is not a big it's actually booze is a bigger killer than marijuana. I've never heard of anyone killed by marijuana, by the way. Never.
But we can never say that, because a problem is a big problem, so we should legalize it and then now educate people. If we do that, if we go that direction, how many things are going to legalize?
But is marijuana a problem? Is it a problem, or are you told it's a problem?
Yeah, you've been told that it's a problem.
I don't know. I've never tasted it. I don't know.
It's not about you tasting it. It's about is it a problem or not? Because it's not about you tasting it.
It's about what?
It's about is it a problem or not?
Okay, but let's.
So if it's a problem, it should be legalized.
Let's consider something else, if I may.
Of course you may.
Let's think. What is? Let's talk about drugs in general. What is the problem with drugs? It's either a security issue or a health issue. for a government to say
how
this
security?
thing, a security issue, for example, if you drink too much, you go on the road, you kill people, you have accidents.
Yeah,
It is a
okay.
road security issue.
Right.
If you do, or if you say, for example, if domestic violence can be linked to the abuse of alcohol,
Yes.
then you can say there's a problem. Let's regulate this thing, because now we're losing people. Now it's becoming a problem for our jails. Too many people. We need we need our population to be out there working and making this country move forward. So now let's think back. Now, if that is the problem, totally with you. Now, you categorize these drugs. You know the health consequences and the security consequences of some of these drugs. Now I would challenge you to tell me which, in regards to the records of, for example, accidents on the road, how many are linked to the smoking of marijuana, or how many are linked to the drinking of alcohol.
The
And
gender-based
then you look at
violence, you do
gender-based
the same
violence,
thing?
and look at every other problem. So I will tell you, you will find nothing. But why you think that way is because we have been bombarded with that hype. We have been told that by people who don't control that trade. That is the reason why. But now I'm not pleading for marijuana. That's not my problem. But my problem is I'm pleading for people. Because if you tell me everyone, and it's a truth, looks for an escape in this life. Some people find it in prayer. Some people find it in alcohol. Some people go kick back and smoke a joint. Now, this person who smoked a joint, tell me what kind of crime has he committed that you go and jail him for 10 years? And don't consider that while he's there in 10 years, the government has to feed this guy. Now that means the taxpayer is feeding this guy.
And what is he becoming after the 10 years?
He's not contributing to society, but he hasn't killed anyone. He hasn't even killed himself. At least if he did.
But maybe if he had been if he hadn't been arrested, one of those two things that you said, either health or either security issue, may have taken place.
Line just told you, make your research. If you find another case of a guy that has not been arrested and that is doing what he's doing, just bring him here.
Okay.
Yeah. So what if?
But that's your challenge. You want
these very countries that told us it's bad, that told us of these consequences and warned us, are now prescribing it to their patients,
exactly,
to the sickest of their patients. Now you tell me if that's logical.
Yeah,
but so I'm not pleading for
who is criminal now? We're just pleading that you become a strong person, strong individual, that you know to do what you do in your life, that you know how to regulate yourself, your own life. But some people are just soft.
We just have to think in terms of society. We need we shouldn't be so quick at saying things like that, like execute people. They talk about the gays, kill them all. Yeah. But these are
talking about short people,
these are
kill them all.
who are supposed to be contributing to society. So it's a loss for us. Slavery was a loss for us because manpower was taken away from Africa and taken to those where they were taken, they moved up fast. So we should really begin to think that way and give some value to human life. That's my story, and God damn it, I'm sticking to it.
Now, there seems to be the FDLR didn't get the memo right.
They're in forests
on this issue.
They don't have access to a fax machine,
they didn't get the memo on the disarmament window.
Or G4. What is it?
4G? So the UN says that they are abusing the disarmament window. In a Tuesday release, the UN Security Council said they were concerned about reports by the special representative of the Secretary General that the FDLR has interpreted this 6-month time frame as a call to stall previously scheduled demobilizations. So for them, I think the memo the message didn't go home properly.
Well, for the last 20 years, it doesn't sink down.
The problem is that with the situation like this of the FDLR, people are just dancing around and making
playing music.
We make a speech, we make a statement, and then it looks like we're doing our jobs, but they know why. They know exactly why this thing is not going anywhere. Because if you say the FDLR, it would suggest that it's just those people. But they know exactly the wranglings that are going on. They know what's going on behind the scenes. They know that they're saying this one side and then this other. Do not worry, my friend. We'll make these kind of statements. It's like that thing of Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. He went on TV and said, I did not have sex with that woman while wearing the tie that she gave to him as a signal to say, okay, do not worry. Whatever I'm saying it because I have to say it. But me and you, we're tight. Yeah,
We're
so
tight
it's the same
up
kind
with
of
that
things.
tie.
It's just declaration statements that never lead anywhere.
Yeah.
So, okay, but they're dealing that
You know,
time they're given, do something.
You
there.
should see the Twitter account of this guy Kobler, the guy who's in charge of the UN in Congo. I mean, how can you were there from the beginning? They've asked you to get rid of these people. You don't move. But you keep tweeting things like, "Oh, the UN Security Council has now giving the last chance to the FDLR." I mean, what are you doing all of this time?
I think it brings back the issue of who benefits from. Sometimes, I'll use the word war. I mean, most of the time, there's always someone benefiting.
Of course.
So and there's always someone who feels if this thing ends, then I'm out of job. I mean, I don't have a job. I won't have anything to do. So probably the dancing that Lion is saying here might be revolving around that.
If people have a short memory when it comes to things like that all of the time, the Addis agreement was in 2012 2012. Everyone had agreed that they have to fight those forces, those negative forces, and they even brought in the FIB, the Force Intervention Brigade.
They should have brought the MIBs, the Men in Black.
The Men in Black, the Galaxy Defenders. Now, it looks like all of these things was in fact organized to get rid of the M23 only, and maintain FDLR. While you maintain FDLR, you maintain the chaos. The reason why many other groups even exist, And if you maintain the chaos, well, again, because the other big question that is there that no one is really talking about is that what about 2016? People
What's
say,
happening in 2016?
well, in 2016 should be the last day of reign as president of Joseph Kabila.
No more elections.
When that is the whole point. That is the whole point. There should be elections in 2016.
Yes.
But if there is chaos, well, there could be a good reason for a guy to move on and to remain in that seat.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation where you think of something and then you don't mention it, and then the next day someone has talked about it? There is an editorial on the New Times, time for Rwanda Day to come to Africa. Yesterday, when I saw an article that preparations are so I wanted us to touch on that a bit. I think he must have diverted us elsewhere with his phone call yesterday.
Really?
So let's have this discussion.
There was also
Africa.
another piece of paper, an article yesterday in the New Times that we could also have touched it by Sunny, talking about police parading people.
Yes.
That's maybe also a topic that we could
develop.
Police parading people.
The suspects,
Where?
when suspects are arrested,
When suspects are arrested, they're still innocent until proven guilty. And so the
I
question.
thought he was talking about Rwanda Day.
No. I said there's another story also. There was two stories.
That's how you sidetrack people.
You see?
Yeah.
So
Rwanda Day.
It's important to have these kind of discussions. That why shouldn't we have it here in Africa or
No,
Okay,
but
but
wait a
let's-
minute. When you say here, there's a difference between here, Rwanda,
and here?
and in Africa.
So
Rwanda is
the
in Africa, and every day is Rwanda Day
Exactly.
in Rwanda.
so the question could be
Japan.
why is it always or most of the time done in
but you
in
see
the diaspora?
what was the beginning of the Rwanda Day was to connect the diaspora, to have a time when the diaspora could really physically connect with the motherland. That was the whole, because when you're in Rwanda, you see, guys are out there and they hear about Rwanda through their relatives, through friends, and then comes a time that Rwanda comes there and with them connects And that is the whole point of
Is the
of
choice
Rwanda
of
Day.
the place where this event is held based on the population? If we have a
It
country
moves,
where we
it
have
moves,
more,
it
so
moves.
it moves.
It moves. So it started in Belgium. It went also to France. And then people from the whole of Europe are gathering in France.
We
So
should-
then it
But
went to the
whose
UK.
initiative is it, or who organizes Rwanda Day?
The diaspora in connection with the communities, most of the time they're more or less organized around it. You see, then they liaise with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This thing was also initiated at the time when one of the Rwandan ambassador, Robert Masozera, was also heading the diaspora unit in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I'm not turning a spokesperson, but this is the experience that I have that I had by covering a couple of Rwanda days, and the guy was very energetic, and dynamic. So he has really put that on rails with the team that they had at those days. I don't know now when it.
I would suggest it goes next time to
But to
Kenya.
Africa, it's a good idea.
Even,
Kenya.
but before going there, probably maybe you're asking yourself the right question, maybe at the wrong time. Is it so much bringing it to Africa, or even asking ourselves the relevance of Rwanda Day, or does it serve its purpose, its initial purpose? Because many people have asked themselves questions in terms of the kind of budget involved in taking people, because it's not just some government officials. There's also a number of
Delegations
businessmen,
also.
delegations. A big delegation goes there.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this budget comes from. And does it
let me
serve
tell
a
you,
purpose?
the private sector most of the time pays for itself.
Okay.
Yeah. Not most of the time, they pay for themselves. So government just move as government.
I would like to
But-
meet the organizing committee and lobby for Kenya.
But okay, you can lobby for Kenya, but it's also you should understand. You go to like last year it was Toronto. It was you had the whole of North America, and some guys had traveled from Europe because it's something special. And to me, yes, it really pays off, and it's an incredible moment. To the extent that I would say,
How does it pay off? Maybe if I may.
yeah,
That's-
yeah.
that's-
Well, I'll
Yeah,
give you an
discussion
example.
over
I will
that,
give you an example. There is a way of transferring to do money transfer, money wiring from continent to continent.
Yes.
Well, there is now a Rwandan one that has been around. I can't remember Rwanda Cash, or I don't know.
Cash
what it
power, I mean, that's all I know.
Don't
is.
know.
No.
Just barely have cash to use myself. Can't
These
spend anywhere.
these are things that came alive.
Yeah.
As a result,
from diaspora or connecting with it happened during one of the that it was just discussed and it came alive. This is only one example. There's some other guys who came back even to Rwanda after things like that. People are so and what it gives, what the return on investment that was already emotionally on that level already, the connection. It was to the point that in Paris, a whole section of the people who were present there were not Rwandans, but other African, who even asked if the president of Rwanda could adopt the African diaspora and also include them.
That's too much PR. That's too much PR. That's too much PR.
It's so much for
we're
you. We're
being-
getting drunk.
we're being told, we're running out of time.
It's on YouTube. You can go and just watch it for yourself. You know.
Where?
But
Give us the link.
you go on
It's-
YouTube and
it's
search.
there. It's
We
probably
search.
there.
Okay.
So it makes good PR. It is true that it probably happened.
Yeah.
It means what it means. So those particular people who were there.
No, but you know what? This is so light
have-
as
we
saying.
have to end.
Well, I don't know why we have a minister of finance, because is it paying off really all that money that goes there? You know, is it really? That
It's
is
a valid
that is
question.
that like-
It's a valid
I'm telling-
question.
No, it's a very
I-
valid question.
Yes.
Don't reduce it to something like that.
I reduce it to that unless you
don't
see
do it because
yes.
you have to. I know what a minister of finance does or is supposed to do,
Okay.
and how it's supposed to pay off. But
Yes.
here, this is a new initiative.
Why?
So
How
you
do you
wonder.
come? How do you come?
how do
You know how the ministry works. How it pays off.
Because I
mean-
pay attention, because I'm a
And
smart
that's-
enough guy to know
Well, let me
that.
tell you.
No,
when I
but
said,
Albert, don't,
of course,
if we discuss, we discuss.
We have to end on that note. We have to end on that note.
We do
a valid
discuss.
point.
No,
Yeah.
it's not the
I'm being
valid.
told really, we have to end. We are taking the
Don't
time for
reduce that
one-on-one.
discussion like that to that
Exactly.
level.
We'll
Because-
bring this discussion up on Friday.
I know
when
you
we have
would.
a longer time. We will.
All right.
We must
No,
will start with that.
That's
So
days off.
we have
That's
to end.
That's
Thank you so
tomorrow.
much. Thank you so much for making it this morning.
We're having this discussion off
But
air.
it's all love, people. It's all love.
Yeah, I'm your host, Jackie Wanyoncho. Good morning.
Okay.
All right.